Hey, we are back talking about some more climate change. And today we're really focusing on what sort of impact humans have had on our climate. The carbon in our atmosphere is determined by a lot of different factors, but one factor recently has definitely been humans. And of all the change to our atmosphere that humans kind of partake in, 20% of it is just simply because of deforestation and urbanization. Cutting down trees and putting up buildings is causing an impact in our atmosphere. The other 80% of our impact comes from human-produced CO2 because we burn fossil fuels. And although we do like to focus on carbon dioxide, that's the one tied to the burning of fossil fuels, that's the one humans can kind of control the most, there are a bunch of other greenhouse gases that we need to talk about. Gases like methane, chlorofluorocarbon, and nitrogen oxides. All of these gases trap heat near the surface and cause our temperature to rise. Besides being a greenhouse gas, CFCs or chlorofluorocarbons impact humans in another really important way. CFCs break down this layer of our atmosphere called the ozone layer. And the ozone layer is made out of ozone, obviously, and it has a chemical formula of O3, 3 oxygens all paired together. And this ozone layer is really important for us because it blocks out the majority, something like 95% of the ultraviolet light that leaves the sun and impacts Earth. So getting somewhere between 2 and 5% of this UV light, and when we walk outside, that is the energy that gives us a suntan, or like in my case, a sunburn. Just imagine if we were getting 100% of the radiation from the sun, that UV light from the sun. It would eradicate all life on the surface of Earth. So the ozone layer is really important for protecting us. And what CFCs do when they get to the upper atmosphere and around this ozone is it steals away the building blocks that reform ozone. Ozone's job in the upper atmosphere is to block out that ultraviolet light. And when that happens, the O3 absorbs the radiation and breaks apart into a single oxygen and an O2. And just given enough time and space, eventually that single oxygen pairs back together with the O2 and it reforms ozone. But in the presence of CFCs, when that O3 breaks apart, the CFCs bond with the single oxygens very quickly, removing them from the equation. So we break apart our ozone layer and we don't allow it to reform. Over time, this produced a hole in our ozone layer. Thankfully, the entire world saw the damage that these CFCs were doing to our atmosphere, and there was a worldwide ban called the Montreal Protocol. And these CFCs, they came from things like aerosol cans, like hairspray, or from refrigerating units or old air conditioners. So the whole world worked together to outlaw these chemicals that were damaging our ozone layer. And since then, our ozone layer has slowly but surely built itself back together. But speaking in terms of Earth's temperature, human impact is undeniable. If we look at our temperatures for, let's say, the last 100 years, in that span of time, the top 5 hottest years have been since 2014. The hottest was in 2016, and then followed by 2019 being the second warmest year. And this pattern is only going to continue to climb. So what can we do? That's hopefully the big question that you're asking yourself. And there's more or less 2 different options that people, humans, Earth, we could really choose. One is if we all decide to band together and very rapidly reduce emissions. And if we can somehow band together to reduce and pretty much eliminate CO2 production, we're going to limit the warming of our planet to somewhere around 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. Which, yes, that's still warming, but there's a lot of natural causes here as well. But if we just continue down the path that we're on now, where CO2 emission just continues to climb year after year, we're looking at something like 8 degrees Fahrenheit warmer by the end of the century. And that will be significant. We're going to save the consequences of a warmer planet for next time. So make sure you're double checking your notes and that you're asking questions, and I'll see you later. Thanks.